testimony and for all you do. Admiral Dyer, I want to follow up on the issue of how the role of the Aerospace Safety Advisory Panel is shaped based on the underlying goal of the Commercial Crew Initiative. And I know in the past ASAP has written about the need for clarity and consistency of purpose, and you talked about that in your testimony. So in the ASAP's opinion, is the purpose of the Commercial Crew Program to develop the commercial space industry, or is it to acquire transportation to the International Space Station?
Well, that's a great question, and one that we've asked, and one that's not entirely clear in its answer, at least to us. Is it economic development? Looking back to the 1930s and the role that government played in what became our aviation industry via the airmail programs, or is it transportation of astronauts to the International Space Station and to low Earth orbit? De facto, I think the answer is both, that NASA is attempting to do both. But part of what we mean by a lack of clarity is an answer to which is the priority and which is first function and first focus. Sometimes I think the administration and leadership of the program is harder because those priorities seem, at least, to ebb and flow.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I wanted to ask Mr. Gerstenmaier, excuse me. The work that NASA does is very important to everyone in the country, but in the district I represent in Oregon, it's home to a lot of high-tech companies in an area known as the Silicon Forest. And though they may not be directly NASA-related, the technology companies in the district certainly all benefit from the development of new innovative solutions that NASA has been responsible for over the years. So I want to ask about the development of a domestic alternative to the Russian Soyuz spacecraft that's currently being used to transport crew members to the ISS. And apparently you've indicated earlier this year, I believe in Senate testimony, that the domestic alternative is expected to reduce costs. And I understand it may be too early to determine the exact value of that cost reduction and those savings, but will you please discuss what factors you'll be considering in making the eventual determination, and discuss particularly how or whether NASA will consider the intangible benefits that a domestic alternative may have, especially in the area of innovation and economic development. It's a balance, and I wonder if you could suggest how we can use this acquisition policy to simultaneously encourage private sector creativity and innovation, but without diminishing the safety of our astronauts. Thank you.
Okay. You articulated very clearly all the things we're trading back and forth. We clearly have to keep safety as number one in this activity and make sure we have a transportation system that can keep our crews safe. And Admiral Dyer described pretty clearly what one of the big questions is: how safe is safe enough? And we're going to have to work collectively to determine that. None of us can do that individually, but we will definitely adhere to safety. Innovation is very important. Doing things domestically is also important. To challenge our folks to do things a new way, to look at using commercial products, to look at other ways of getting crew to space has tremendous advantages to us domestically here in the U.S. We also would like to get good value. We've budgeted at roughly the Soyuz seat price in the out years with inflation going forward. We would like to get lower than that, and we'll see where the costs come in as we go through this activity and we get better understanding of where things move. But I think the things you describe are things that we need to trade across each other. The one that I think there becomes a line around is safety. At some point, we don't trade beyond that. We need to make sure we get a capability that will support what we need. Then the next piece comes in the cost side. If the costs go extremely high, which we don't think they will, we think we have a good chance to get the cost less than Soyuz. But if they go high, then we need to trade. Are we getting significant benefit on the innovation side and the domestic production side to make that warranted? So we'll articulate to you to the best of our ability where we see that information fall out, and then with you we can help make those trades that are right for the nation.
Thank you very much. I yield back. Thank you, Mr. Chair.